Hello, Donna Happy Place. Another Saturday class for you. This time it's more rebellious class. I'm asking you to use art materials in less traditional way, and I'm asking you to break some of them just for fun. So I will demonstrate use of 4 different art materials used slightly different way that you would expect. This session is about experimentation. So if you do not have some of those materials, you may decide to use something else. If something is too precious to you or you paid fortune for art material, of course, do not break it. So I use charcoal, soft charcoal, compressed charcoal, and they're actually not even going to be broken when I use them in different way. Crayons, wax crayons, I'm breaking those ones in video, and all pastels, which maybe you've got already broken if you've ever been working with all pastels in more dynamic way. I'm looking forward to what you create, and have fun. Have lots of fun and relax when you work with art materials. Bye bye. Okay, so I'm creating 4 different examples of using art materials in a, I would say, horizontal way, or maybe less popular way, to show you what you can get out of them and just to experience something different. You can use 4 different pieces of paper. You can use smaller piece of paper, like a 1/4 of A4, so you're gonna get some interesting like kind of cards. I just divided one piece of paper with the masking tape into 4 because I want you to see those 4 examples, and when I'm finished I'll be taking masking tape off. But that's just for demonstration purposes. Unless you really like it, you can do the same. Right, let's start with charcoal. You may have some charcoal, you may not, so that's why I have 4 different supplies. So you may do all of them, or you may just do a few, depending on what you can find in your art supplies. This is compressed charcoal, this is soft charcoal. You can use any of them. And let's start with the soft. So, you know, normally people just use it like that, but let's hold it this way. And I'll be using it horizontal. So look at those lines, you know, variety of movement, and it's like a ribbon, isn't it? I'm just going over this masking tape a bit, so it's like a ribbon. Yeah, you can come back to your sorry, let me just move that because quite aware that's, you probably can't see everything in the camera. You can add drawing in more traditional way if you wanted to that. You can also smudge it, and you can go over them and just emphasize certain parts. Of course, that's quite messy. Charcoal is messy. Maybe your choice of your material or not. Now we have oil pastels. So this is how you would normally have them in a box and maybe used like that. So I would encourage you to take the paper cover off and break them into smaller pieces. So that's already done it for me. So I have 2 here, blue and yellow. And again, like with the charcoal, I'm going to use it so with oil pastel you get mixed of colors when the layers are meeting. I go on top of that. Now I'm picking up some blue with this yellow just to show you. So I'm gonna have a bit of green. You see, this is I'm back to my yellow. So here from blue and yellow I created green. So have a go, mix different colors. Quite like how this kind of reminds me of seaweed. It's just that movement. Okay, let me just turn that paper. So in this one, let's go for, this is just typical wax crayon. You can, if you have children, they may have that in the school bag. And let's do the same we did with oil pastel. Break it into smaller chunks and take the paper off. I have yellow as well. And of course, you know, you can use as many colors you want. I'm just doing 2 for demonstration. Let's try more circular movement. Look at that. Sometimes you may want to have a piece that's longer, so I'm gonna keep this yellow a bit longer than the purple so we can see the difference. So now we get more coverage. Ah, it just broke. And again, we're getting orange because we're applying yellow on top of the magenta. And with those, with wax crayons, they do love working in layers because that's how you get more pigment. So try to come back to some areas. Okay. And now at number 4, I'm coming back to my compressed charcoal. So this is quite wide. You need a bit of pressure with compressed charcoal. It is much harder than your willow or soft charcoal. Again, movement. You know, apply different types of movement. It is quite physical, I have to say, especially with compressed charcoal. Soft charcoal is easier to handle. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the masking tape off, and then we can work on details, coming back to using the same material, like with the charcoal, just adding more details. So actually I'm going to do it before I take that masking tape off. So let's come back to charcoal, soft charcoal. So I started here already. It's about emphasizing now the shapes you got, the movement you created. And now you bring in this up, this movement of kind of charcoal ribbon. And if you want to have impression that something is on top of something else, so like this ribbon is on top and this one goes underneath, make the top one a bit lighter and the underneath darker. So what is darker seems to be far away from us, and lighter goes on top. So I'm just smudging it and removing a bit of charcoal, so this one is sitting on top and this one goes underneath. Okay. And I'm adding some shapes as I go along. This one a lighter. It's easy with charcoal to make some areas lighter. You just smudge it or remove charcoal. Okay, that's my charcoal. All pastel. So what do I want to do with that? Going back to my blue pastel and maybe just get some of the parts like to me like a bit like a growing plants. Just get the bottom more visible. Let's find a yellow barely and left. Just adding highlights. So now you can go into details. You can hold your pastel in more traditional way. Okay. Crayon, wax crayon, holding it this way so I get the sharp edge. They're very different. That's the whole point. It's a play. And then we have compressed charcoal. So using that more like a pencil, you get really bold and crispy lines. Not like that. Okay, let me add some dots. Right, I'm going to take the masking tape off now and show you those 4 pieces together. Okay, I'm back, so look how different they are. And like I said, if you wanted to use them for separate cards, just make small pieces of paper, and then each you can create a card. In terms of charcoal, you may need to spray it with hairspray from like 30 centimeters away, and then allow that to dry. That helps you to seal that artwork so it doesn't come off or doesn't smudge when you touch it. So they're very different. I really like the charcoal, I also like the oil pastel. Use what you have. Another option, I haven't showed you that, but I also tried with just a normal pencil, and I would break or take the lid and then use that. This is probably too small, but you can make it much longer, and then use that as well. So that's another option. Basically, I do encourage you to break some art materials, which I know may be a bit too much for some people, but there are many art materials that are very cheap, and charcoal doesn't require you really to break it, just to hold it differently. Some of your oil pastels may be already broken, and the crayons may be broken as well. You may find some pieces of crayons, or pastels, soft pastels. It's another material you may want to try, and it gives fantastic results. So yeah, have a go, try using them in different position, different orientation, and then add details with coming back to more traditional use. So I'm looking forward to what you create, and have fun. Bye bye.